2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brandon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us.
My husband has gone from being Mr. Nice Guy to Mr. Mean Guy. What do I do?
Welcome to the Real Talk Recovery Podcast with the Therapy Brothers.
We're brothers, we're therapists, and we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, Brandon? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. Got to see you and the family for a second this weekend. Your son got baptized. It was great.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day all around. I missed you for sandwiches afterwards.
I know. We were in a rush to get back. We had some other plans with Maddie's fiance. So
I would have made you a nice one.
I know you do.
Yeah, you're a big sandwich dude. So
I love a good sandwich.
I remember at Mav, we'd go there and you'd buy the sandwich and a bunch of Twinkies.
I don't think I ever bought Twinkies, but I did buy sandwiches a lot.
You were more a cupcake guy, a Hostess cupcake type guy.
No, but this is something that I do want our audience to respond to. Is Brandon and I have had a long-standing debate for a while on whether or not you would ever purchase a Mr. Good bar when you go into the gas station.
Oh, Good bars, yes.
And I just said that you could pretty much go into any gas station, and the Mr. Good bars that are on the shelf there have probably been there for the last 20 years because there's so many other better options.
And he's completely wrong. You know, sometimes, Tyler, just pure simple things are really good. Chocolate and peanut butter, man.
Chocolate and peanuts are great,
bar.
But nobody ever buys a good bar.
It is a good bar, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and on Halloween, you dig through the special darks and the crackles and that kind of crap, and you get to the good bars.
The special darks are my favorite. I leave good bars till the end.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I think you're wrong on this one.
Okay.
All right, man. Let's get into it here. We got a question that I think we can break down and pull out a lot of different angles too. So should I just go ahead and read the question?
Yeah, this one came from a question that was submitted in writing. So those of you guys who have questions, if you go to realtalkrecovery.com, you can ask to be a guest on the show, and you'll always be pushed to the front if you're going to be a guest on the show. But if not, you can also submit a question. And this question came through that means. So this comes from E. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yep. It says, my husband is starting reading the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. That was referred to by his sponsor. Now he says his boundary is going to jujitsu 2 times a week, which is during bedtime with the kids. I said, I'm okay with one time but 2, especially on Mondays, is really challenging. He responds with his needs are important and he can no longer back down because then he is compromising his self-care time. How do I respond? Aren't boundaries to help a relationship thrive? This does not feel that way.
This is a good question. This would be a great question to actually have a conversation on, because we're going to be reading between the lines a lot and speaking general principles today. And it might not be exactly for your situation based off of what some of the other nuances would be.
Well, what you just said, Tyler, is really important, because what's between the lines is what's most important, I think, which is, where is his heart? Is he doing this out of love? Is he being empathetic? Is he being kind as he goes about this? Or is he swinging the pendulum? Is he Mr. Nice Guy who has always backed down to her, who has, never just, he's Mr. Yes Man. And now he's reading that book and he's like, nope, I'm going to go do this. Get over it.
Yeah.
And he's swinging the pendulum to the other side of being uncaring and unloving. But he has to do that in order to give himself the full permission to actually go do that self-care.
Right. So I wonder if we ought to maybe go through this from a couple lenses and give responses, because I think at least my response would be different based on two different ends of the pendulum, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So on the first end of the pendulum, the first end of the spectrum, let's just say he's gone from being Mr. Nice Guy, which is by definition is a guy who is so worried about what everybody else thinks of him that he doesn't live with integrity and he never shows his true colors.
It is one of the most dishonest, manipulative things that you can do in a relationship is to be too nice for the wrong reasons. So I know that sounds backwards.
Because it's not authentic, because it's so hyper-focused on managing and manipulating everybody else's feelings and responses that you actually never really step into the true authenticity of who you are.
And yes. And for some reason, sex addiction and Mr. Nice Guys are good buddies. And a lot of the reason is because somebody who's struggling with a sex addiction does not understand their masculinity and what healthy masculinity is. And they're trying to get their masculinity from the feminine. And so they've done that through their sex addiction, and they do that through their wife as well, or their partner, where I want to please you. I want to make you happy. And then I get my self-worth. And so I won't be honest with you. Instead of, when you ask me a question or when we make a decision, my lens is, what does she want? Because I want her to be happy, not who am I and what do I actually want? Like, what's my honest truth? Yeah. And Tyler, what happens to a partner in a relationship with a Mr. Nice Guy? Like, how do they feel?
They feel like there's never actually anything to push against or structured up against to kind of have a discussion with. And they also feel, even though they can't put their finger on it a lot of the time, in fact, it makes them feel kind of mad and crazy because this person is showing, I just want you to be happy. I'm doing whatever I want you to be happy. But there's an added piece to that, Brandon, so that I can feel good about myself, not because I actually want you to be happy.
Yeah. Right? That's the manipulation and the selfish part is I want you to be happy for me.
So I can feel good about myself and that's the difference between someone who's coming in with strength and authenticity and saying, hey, I want your happiness.
Absolutely.
And we have to be able to work together in some way as two authentic people, instead of I'm going to mold and shape shift to any kind of like way that I think will keep you happy, because when you're happy, then you're not mad at me. And when you're mad at me, that means I'm not good enough. And so I'm just going to, so in a relationship like that, if we go out to dinner and my wife says, hey, Tyler, what do you want? And I'm like, what are the 3 restaurants that she likes the best? And then I list off those 3 things. I'm like, I'm good with any of those. And then she's like, oh, I want this place. And it's like my least favorite place to eat in town. And I'm like, that sounds great to me. Like, that's awesome.
You're eating a salad and you wish you were at Hut.
Right. And what I've done is I've kept the peace and I've been the nice guy, and everybody else around me is like, oh, you get married to the best guy. He's so nice. He's awesome. But she's there going like, but now I have to make all the decisions. And now I don't really know. I really honestly don't really know if he really means what he says a lot of the time.
Yeah. And really what I see the woman feeling is like, nobody understands why I'm so miserable in my marriage. There's something lacking. I just want you to be strong. I want you to be authentic. And I'm just not happy. I don't feel safe with you because you're such a shapeshifter chameleon who's always trying to be what you think you should be from me. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Mr. Nice Guys. I think too, Tyler, it's, we say this so black and white. A lot of times these Mr. Nice Guys, they genuinely are good dudes.
They're good guys.
And who have good hearts, who
Yes.
want to do good, who want to love. And so it's not just, I'm just doing this for me. A lot of times it's mixed. It's a combination of, I am a loving human being who wants to serve and love you, but I also want to consume you at the same time. I have no
self-confidence.
Yeah.
It's both. And I think that's what's hard with a lot of the guys that we work with is that we're actually trying to train them how to stick with their goodness, but grow into their like authenticity and strength. And so let's look at it from that lens first with this question, because I think that's what we often see, Brandon, in our practice is we see really good men who are Mr. Nice Guys because they don't have any self-confidence, but they actually genuinely are good guys. And then they start learning this principles that are Mr. Nice Guy, right? Like, hey, you got to start setting your own boundaries. You got to start having your own opinions. You got to even be willing to have a little bit of conflict sometimes.
Wow.
And if it's a good guy who's trying to figure out how to step into his authenticity while still keeping his goodness, then my response to that situation is going to be different than a guy who's resentful and finally read a book that allows him to just be a jerk and be selfish and do whatever he wants.
Right. Exactly. I'm just thinking, I want to back up a little bit. No More Mr. Nice Guy. Robert A. Glover wrote the book, and just a little bit about him. He is a recovering sex addict. And I think he identifies something that goes beyond just sex addiction. And he gets into this Mr. Nice Guy thing and really flushes it out. He does a good job in the book. So check it out if you feel like you're struggling with it. So sorry, Tyler, I just wanted to give that little side note.
That's great. Yes. So kind of back to the question, here we are. We got a woman who's married to Mr. Nice Guy, self-proclaimed. He reads the book. He's trying to work recovery from the lens of he's a good guy and he's trying to figure out his boundaries. I look at this question and I say, she was asking, how is this good for a relationship? When he says he needs twice a week, I'm saying I can't really tolerate twice a week, especially on Monday nights, because that's the hard night. And he's coming back and saying, but if I don't manage myself, and if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to have anything in the tank to give. What's the answer to this one? So there is a clear answer, usually all the time. So should I just lay that out, Tyler? Go for it. But this is the problem here is a Mr. Nice Guy has a really hard time doing the right thing here. So because it's about when we bring up that word strength, it's about confidence within yourself to sit in the hard. And so what I've seen a lot of Mr. Nice Guys go from being a doormat to being an aggressive jerk who they've built up resentment for years and years and years because they haven't actually been honest and haven't had boundaries. And so then they're given permission by a therapist or by a sponsor or whoever. And it's just like, okay, now I'm going to tell you, woman, about what I want. And it's like, you've been blankety blank, controlling me my whole life. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to jujitsu twice a week. Right. And you know what? I'm just being honest with my self-care. Yeah. I do whatever I want now. Yeah. And you know what? You're going to end up liking this because this is my masculinity. Yeah.
So we go from caretaker, like just perpetual caretaker mode, which is Mr. Nice Guy, to persecutor mode, which is jerk face, right?
Yeah.
So, how about let's not go to either for a minute? Maybe there's another way, and this is the answer. It is being strong enough, being confident within yourself enough, being resilient to your shame enough that you can do two things at the same time. That you can be honest and you can be empathetic at the same time. You don't need to sacrifice the empathy in order to give the honesty, and you don't need to sacrifice the honesty in order to give in, right? And if you're honest and you're empathetic and you're consistent with that over time, you do that again and again and again with your partner, what do you know? They start to trust you. They start to realize, wow, when he's stepping up and he's saying, I really need jujitsu twice a week, there's a reason why. But you know what? He understands how difficult this is for me to put the kids to bed twice a week. And he's still saying, I need to go. This must really mean something to him. But if he's in jerk face mode, Tyler, or if he's in Mr. Nice Guy mode, then she's wondering what's actually going on here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I wonder, Brandon, let's, I don't know if you're up for it or not, but I think let's do a role play really quickly.
I love role plays. I love it.
on what you're describing. But I think what you're describing actually plays out on both sides of this equation.
Both sides. Yeah.
Both sides of this equation, where if there's honesty and empathy at the same time, even if we end up not fully agreeing, we're going to get as close to the middle as we possibly can, and we're going to do it with some level of understanding.
Right.
Right.
And I just want to add, a Mr. Nice Guy is very connected to his, let me take this back. Not a Mr. Nice Guy, a recovering Mr. Nice Guy, or a man in recovery, is very connected to his partner's pain, like very connected. At the same time, his partner's pain does not become him or his truth. So he's still standing on his own 2 feet. He's interdependent, not codependent. So I can hold your pain and I can care deeply about you. This is why this is hard to role play it, because in a role play, that energy isn't all the way there. I can hold your pain. I can care deeply about you. And you're going to feel that from me and know that I really do care about your pain and your struggle. And at the same time, if I need to let you know that this is my truth and this is what I'm going to need to do, I can still say that, and I can allow you to go work through your own pain, and give you that space to go do that. And I can sit in my own discomfort. And this is one of the hardest parts for a Mr. Nice Guy. I can sit in my own discomfort that you are now in pain because of something that I said or a conversation we had. You're now in pain and you need to go work through that. And I'm going to allow that process to take place. That's hard, right? And that's where the strength is to be able to go through that process in a relationship.
Yes, exactly. So let's do it, Brandon. Do you want to be Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, or do you want to be the wife?
I'll be the wife.
Okay. I'll be the guy then.
Okay. You're Jiu-Jitsu.
I'll start it off. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, are you giving a good example or
no? I think this is just, let's demonstrate what a good conversation could look like on both sides.
Okay. So I'll do my best as the wife is what you're saying.
Yeah. Do your
worst.
Do your best as the wife, but make sure you're honest too. And that you take into account everything she put into her questions. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'll start it off.
Okay.
Hey, babe, I know that this is really hard for you. I've been reading this Mr. Nice Guy book, and I'm realizing that I've spent my whole life not being honest with you. And because of that, I deplete myself. I don't show up the way that I need to. And I realize I got to take some more time for some self-care. And this jiu-jitsu class on Mondays and Wednesdays is the thing that I'm going to be doing for my self-care to build some confidence, to get a little bit of a release and even get some time away, but also to hopefully recharge my batteries so I can show up a little bit better than I have in the past.
Okay. I love that you're like looking at doing some self-care and that you're cutting out some time for yourself and doing jujitsu. That's awesome. Like, I think that's awesome. What my struggle is when it is bedtime is so hard right now. You know what bedtime is like. And, you know, and for me, and my own self-care, to take that on myself 2 nights a week, just seems overwhelming for me. And so my struggle is I really do want to support you to do your self-care and to do jujitsu. But I also, to be honest with you, I'm not okay with having you gone during bedtime and being on our own twice a week, being on my own.
Yeah, I know, babe. I'm putting a ton of pressure on you at that bedtime hour, especially when that's something that I typically do with the kids. And I actually love doing that. I'm not opposed to like maybe exploring other options, but the best option that I've found is with this specific, gym, with this specific coach that I really want to work with. And the times when the classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays. And, I feel pretty strongly that I should still be doing it.
This isn't like, yeah, the old you wouldn't do this. Like, you would just come home and put them to bed. But I appreciate that you're wanting to step up for yourself. Can I make you maybe a proposal or a deal here? And you can think about it. If I sacrifice here and I put them to bed myself twice a week, I hate getting up in the morning with them and getting them ready for school. And the morning's my time when I can really meditate and do my own self-care. And so I'm happy to do those 2 nights if you'll take 2 or 3 mornings and just be on your own with the kids and getting them out to school.
Yeah, I really appreciate you understanding this. And I know I'm putting some burden on you, and I will definitely do my best to try to help out and be flexible that way. I don't know if I can be flexible with the dates because that's when the classes are, but I'm definitely open to trying to figure out how to get you your time and to do your own dailies or whatever else too. And I'm sure we can come up with something, but I don't know if I can change the class times.
What I'm saying is I'm fine. I'll do it, but I'll do it if I know that you're actually going to step up for me to give me my time in the morning. Like, can you do that for me? Because if I'm putting the kids to bed at night and I'm worn out and I got to wake up in the morning and just jump right back into it.
Of course. I don't want you to feel burned out and tired. Of course, the reason I'm trying to do this is because I actually want to be a better husband. I want to be able to give you the right kind of energy. And I can't promise that I can be there every single morning because sometimes I leave for work early in the morning, but on the days that I'm there, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. I would love 2 days a week, just like you. Like, you're asking for Mondays and Wednesdays to go to jiu-jitsu. I'd love Tuesdays and Thursdays to know that, hey, you're going to be there. Are those days that you can make work?
Let me check with some people at work, and I think I can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. We make it sound so easy, Tyler.
So simple. Now that's the question. Is I know that whoever submitted this question is going to go, but I'm not okay. Like, honestly, I'm only okay with 1 day a week. What happens when I'm really only okay with 1 day a week, and this other person is saying I need to do it 2 days a week?
Well, but so this is where in a relationship, if both partners are showing up authentic, then you are on a crash course towards some conflict, because your lives are different and you're different individuals and you're working closely together to raise a family and all those things. Right.
Yeah.
And so as long as you feel heard and understood and loved and cared for, then the part of the conversation shifts to negotiation and compromise, where for her to take a step back and say, okay, like, if I were to give those 2 nights a week, what would I need in return to feel good, to feel okay, to feel alive?
Not to coerce or not to like make it so transactional, but really more like what did she need in order to maintain her mental health?
It's not a fairness thing. It's not, well, you did this, so I get that. I mean, you're acting like a child.
Yeah.
But it's an honesty thing. She might ask for, hey, I need the 4 hours before you go to jujitsu if you're going to go. And I'm going to go do my own thing. Right.
Yeah.
But for her to take a step back and say, what really would be okay for me? And for him then, and whatever she asks for, it might be a sacrifice for him. And for him to say, okay, what can I give? And I don't want to Mr. Nice Guy this, but I also do want to love and care for her and show up for her in the areas that I really can.
Yes.
And so, yes, I will step into that. I will help you, not from Mr. Nice Guy, because I love you and I support you. And it's awesome you're making this sacrifice for me so I can go do this jujitsu, right?
Yes, exactly. I like what you said, Brandon, about the combination of empathy and honesty, because I think the empathy part, number one, it keeps the ability to keep the discussion alive a lot longer without people getting too flooded emotionally. But I think the key thing that the empathy does is it allows the partner showing the empathy to pull the principles that are needing to be talked about into the room. So, it's like when you were responding to me and saying, I know it's important to you to make your own choices and to do your own self-care. And this is new for me. And I want you to keep following that. Like that empathy part was actually starting to identify the principles that I was trying to like reinforce in myself. And now we can negotiate the principles without it being personal.
Yes. Right. That's a good point, Tyler. And that's what you want to get to that space. What happens is drama comes in beforehand, and both partners, it's a control thing where I want control, you want control. And so that my little child's going to come in and pout and scream and cry and manipulate and do whatever to try to get the control to get what I want. And when each partner lets go of needing to get what you want, cares more about the relationship and caring about the other person, and then works on getting what you want together. I want my wife to get what she wants, even when it's in conflict with something that I want. I really want her to. And so if that's my approach and that's her approach, then we're both coming to the table saying, okay, like how can we co-create here a little bit and try to get what we both want? And sometimes we won't.
Yes.
But if we're in cooperation and in empathy and love, then we're much more likely to have both of our needs met.
And we're more willing to lean into that place of wanting to look for those solutions instead of the either or. When there's no empathy, we get stuck in that, right and wrong kind of a thing, rather than, hey, there's maybe 10 other options we could be looking at here. And as long as the principles that we're really wanting or needing are in play, we can negotiate that for quite a while before we find something that may work for both of us. And if it doesn't, we at least both feel understood if we have to make a choice one way or the other.
I mean, Tyler, how many times in your own personal life or with clients, couples that you've worked with, where they come in and there's something they're fighting about? It's like, well, we should spend this money on this, not that, or, we should do the treatment this way or that way. There's something they're fighting about, right? And so they want you to referee as a therapist, or, me and my wife or whoever, we're fighting about something. And in reality, the thing isn't the important thing. We don't even care about that. We want to be understood. We want to be seen. We want to be validated. If I get that with most things in my relationships, like really, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I just had one of these sessions like a couple of weeks ago, actually, where this couple came in, they were fighting over this one specific topic. And I sat there and I listened to both sides of them for a minute, and they really wanted to come up with a conclusion on like exactly like the specifics on how long their vacation was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, okay. So and then I hear their stories and I hear their points of view. And then I lay out like 3 different options of like, well, instead of the 2 things you're looking at, what about this? Or what about this?
Yeah.
What about this? And every time I'd offer one or the other would be like, but no, because this and this. And I'm like, oh,
They don't want that.
Let's pull those values into the room then. Like, how come those values aren't the thing being talked about? Like, instead of it being this pinpoint of the content of, oh, how long is this going to last? How long is our vacation going to be? It's more like, oh no, there's still some underlying resentment by one of them. And there's still this other feeling of not being respected by the other one and not being valued with their opinion. And none of that's ever getting talked about because it's so stuck on the either or of who's going to be right or wrong. And when you start to actually break that down and come up with those solutions, it teases out those values. And the values are what matter.
Can I give an example of that?
Yeah.
So we're remodeling a house. My wife wants to tear out a shower wall because she knows there's mold behind it. And so she wants to tear the whole shower out. She knows there's mold behind it. And so we have to tear it out. Well, I'm pretty positive there's not mold behind it. Like,
okay.
And so I'm thinking dollars and cents, right? I'm thinking like, okay, replacing a whole shower, we're probably looking at $2,000 or whatever. Like, let's just not tear that out. Like, so I value the money. I value also the work. Like, I don't want to spend my time and energy on something that I think is a waste of time. Right?
Yes.
So if I go to her and I say, we're not tearing it out, and she goes to me and she says, we're tearing that out. And she's like, we have to tear it out. We have to tear it out. And I'm saying, we're not tearing it out. We're not really going to get anywhere. Okay.
Right.
But if we look at empathy and understanding values, she values safety, and she values health and peace of mind. Right. So it's worth it to her to tear out that wall, whether there's mold behind it or not, just to know that now when we're talking on values there, my heart can open up and understand, like, what must that be like for her to be so worried about getting sick by being in that room, right? Like, that matters. That really matters to me that she feels that way.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean I'm taking a sledgehammer to the wall quite yet.
No.
Right.
But what it does is it gets you creative and going, okay, I know my own values. I want to save money. I don't want to have to do a ton of labor. I do want her to know that I care about her and her needs for safety and peace of mind. Now you start thinking, instead of like no shower, yes shower, it's more like, maybe instead of the $2,000, maybe I could fork out $200 for a plumber to come scan the wall with his machinery that you can see behind the walls with.
Exactly.
Right.
So now we're getting to more compromise of her stuff, her fears, it pushes into me checking myself out and saying, what are my values here? Why is this important to me? Why is it not?
Yeah.
Now, if she holds those values and empathizes with that and cares about that, her heart might open up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And although she's worried about her health and all those things and all her stuff is valid and real there, so is mine. And so then she can say, okay, like, let's call that plumber and get that $100 scan, or if that's a possibility, right? Now, sometimes there's not a perfect compromise.
Yes.
And so, so let's say I say, you know what, hon, I hear you. And I want you to know, like, where I stand. But I'm going to choose to tear this out.
Yeah.
I am choosing to tear this out. Me. Like, yes. I'm not resenting you. I am choosing to do this because I love you. And, and what I'd ask in return is maybe next time, you can come my way a little bit because I'm going to go your way this time. Yeah. Right.
And even before that, Brennan, I just want to ask that you understand where I'm coming from too, and show that you understand that.
Right. Not to beat it over your head of how wonderful I am. That's not what I'm doing, but just so you know, like, this is, I need to feel seen, validated, and heard. Mm-hmm. And I'm being honest with you that's how I feel. And I'm still going to tear this out. And honestly, I am doing this for you. Now she might start feeling guilty and say, well, then don't do it. No. And that's back on her to deal with those feelings, right?
Yeah. To live with her integrity, her honesty, her feelings, instead of going into Mr. Nice Guy on the other side.
Right. Trying to caretake there. Right.
Yeah.
So, this has been a good discussion, Tyler. Have we answered the question?
I think we answered the question in one or two ways.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that the other side to that question, I know we're over pretty much out of time, is that if you're getting the energy that there is coercion, control, manipulation, then you're going to have to just continue to set your boundaries. But I think it goes back to what you were saying in the first place anyway, Brandon, that either way, if I'm honest and empathetic, it's my best course of action to setting boundaries.
Yep.
Yeah.
And work on some real good communication skills to actually flush this stuff out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have those, then it's going to be really hard to get to this really good place. You can take anything, whether it's jujitsu on a Monday night or whatever it is, and it can turn into a disconnector and drama, or it can turn into a massive source of connection in your relationship.
Inside the tension and conflict.
Yep. And it can be beautiful. You can feel close to each other, seen, understood, validated, all those things.
Great. Great discussion, Brandon. For those of you who are listening, if you enjoyed it or you know someone who could benefit from this, the best way that you can help us is to just share it with other people. So thank you guys for being here.
See you guys.